28th of August 1940. In the skies over southeast England, the Battle of Britain rages as Hitler tries to achieve air superiority over the Royal Air Force before he can contemplate launching Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of the British Isles. British aerial defences are stretched tight and are poised to combat the next incursion when radar operators plot a threat off the English south coast. A single aircraft is noted. A lone raider, perhaps, something different among the mass air attacks of recent days and weeks, but a threat nonetheless. But this radar blip is a little odd, as it is moving rather slowly, much more slowly than the normal German bombers and fighters encountered by the British. An order is given to vector a pair of Hawker Hurricane fighters to investigate. Sometime later, the Hurricane flight leader's voice comes over loud and clear. It is a German plane, but not something either RAF pilot has seen before. Somewhat unbelievably, the Hurricanes have intercepted a biplane cruising slowly along, the kind of antiquated design of plane that all pilots of the era learned to fly during elementary training. The question is, what on earth is a Luftwaffe biplane doing tooling about the south coast of England in the midst of the world's largest air battle? And the plane carries a maker's name, synonymous not with World War II, but with the last unpleasantness, World War I. For the plane is a Gotha. In 1940, students of war and the older generation who had lived through the Great War would have been all too familiar with the maker's name Gotha. Gothas were the first fixed-wing bombers to attack London and southeast England in a concerted campaign, after the dreaded Zeppelin airships had been largely overcome, and the last Gotha raid had occurred on the night of the 19th to 20th of May 1918. Altogether, in a precursor to the soon-to-begin Blitz on London of 1940-41, German Gotha G4 bombers had killed 1,414 people and injured a further 3,416 during air attacks in 1917-18. Tiny casualty figures in comparison to the numbers who would die in the 1940-41 Blitz, but nonetheless the name Gotha, like the name Zeppelin, had become infamous amongst the British civilian population. The plane the two Hurricanes intercepted on the 28th of August 1940 over the English Channel was not, of course, one of these World War I bombers. Instead, it was its grandson, a Gotha GO-145, a wood and fabric-covered two-seater biplane that had entered Luftwaffe service in 1935 for use as a training aircraft and liaison plane. It cruised along at 110 miles per hour and had a range on a full tank of 390 miles. The Hurricane pilots made several passes of the Gotha, noting only one man, the pilot, aboard, the black crosses on his wings and fuselage and the swastika on the tail. They decided that it wouldn't be very sporting to shoot the unarmed German plane down, and as it wasn't far from the English coast, the Hurricane flight leader made it very clear to the German pilot, using hand signals, that he must turn north and land. The terrified German pilot was not having a very good day. Unteroffizier Leonard Buchler was a very young and inexperienced pilot who had been assigned to Jagdgeschwader 27, a fighter unit equipped with the famous Messerschmitt Bf 109E. Buchler had been assigned to the headquarters flight instead of a fighter, and found himself flying the headquarters Gotha 145 liaison plane on various errands, one of which was regularly flying squadron mail and military dispatches from Cherbourg to various places. He had taken off on his mission, but lost his bearings in fog and become disorientated. A version of the story has Buchler flying mail from Cherbourg to the German-occupied Channel Islands, the only British territory ever captured by Hitler. It seems quite likely, as it involved an overwater flight that could have led to the inexperienced Buchler becoming lost out over the English Channel. Either way, by the time the Hurricanes found him, Buchler was not only lost, but also running low on fuel. His tank probably not topped up to full before his planned milk run flight. Following RAF directions, the English coast soon came into view and Buckler started to search for somewhere to land, still being shadowed by the hurricanes. Spotting Lewes Racecourse in East Sussex, he brought the Gotha down and made a good landing on the grass, his plane bouncing to a halt on a slight hill, and he switched off the engine. Buckler's plane was first spotted by a group of excited teenage boys, and soon police officers and Home Guard were at the scene, the hurricanes not leaving until Buckler was arrested. The confused Buckler was noted by police as very young and frightened by the prospect of being taken prisoner. He expressed genuine alarm as to what his commanding officer, Colonel Max Ebel, would say about the incident. A policeman told him not to worry about it. Quote, "That's okay, as long as he doesn't get shot down and taken prisoner too." End quote. In the second cockpit, the police recovered several bags of mail and military dispatches of huge value to British military intelligence. Escorted to Lewes police station, Unteroffizier Buckler was met there by 2 RAF officers. The mail and documents were taken over by Flying Officer Birch, while the hapless German pilot was interviewed by Pilot Officer Gibbs and local police constable Sankey. Buckler ultimately was sent to London to be interrogated by military intelligence, something all German pilots who fell into British hands had to endure, and then he was sent to a prisoner of war camp in England before being shipped to a camp in Canada for the duration of the war. The Gotha 145 now became British property. On the 31st of August 1940, squadron leader H.J. Wilson flew the German plane off the racecourse at Lewes to Farnborough, where all captured German aircraft were kept, examined and test flown. It was there test flown in RAF markings on the 2nd of December, and then issued to No. 20 Maintenance Unit on the 1st of January 1941, thence to Maintenance Command in September of that year, one of only a handful of German planes actually serving with the RAF on a day-to-day basis, another being a small group of Messerschmitt Bf 108 liaison planes impounded from the German embassy at the start of the war. The ultimate fate of the Gotha 145 is unknown, but undoubtedly it was scrapped after the war. As for Leonard Buckler, he survived the war and lived on into old age. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.